Hello, Eagles and Sixers fans. This is your boy, Tone DeShields II. You guys are locked in on your dose of Chalk It Up Sports Philly, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Super grateful for you guys for locking in on the content. Always grateful for your support. Always grateful for you guys coming back. If you guys are new to my content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more. And if you guys are new to the channel, you already know how we getting down over here, man. Y'all know that Chalk It Up Sports Philly, we giving y'all some of the best sports content, and we giving y'all that energy, we giving y'all that passion. And like I said, man, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And if you guys have been loyal to the soil, loyal to the channel from the very beginning, you already know where my heart is. You know how we get down here at Chalk It Up. So I got some topics lined up for you guys. I'm gonna get right into this stuff, man, because I got so much stuff on my mind when it comes to the Philadelphia 76ers and the Ben Simmons drama. I got so much on my mind when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, Lane Johnson coming back, uh, the NFC East picture, our draft position. It's a shame we're talking about draft position right now when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles. But again, we got so much stuff to hop right into, man. So let's get it. So, Ben Simmons. Well, he's back in Philadelphia for now, and we don't really know how long he's going to be with the city or with the team. It's really all up in the air. But let me just go down some things that you guys need to hear. So he participated in his first practice on Sunday, yesterday, and from what it appeared, he got reps in with the second team. Now that's not really a good look for him, just popping off with the second team, and that just shows that you starting from the ground up with this team, my man. And we're not going we're not going to coddle you at this point. You're not going to just come back. You're not going to just act like nothing happened, and you're going to get these runs up with the second team. Now, Doc Rivers said that he wasn't really in game shape, but he looked decent. He looked good. So that's whatever that means is what it means. But it's really unclear. It's really unclear in terms of where we see this guy, how we see this guy, and on top of that, it's even more unclear on if he's even going to be able to play for the season opener. Will he play? Will he decide to play? Who knows? Will he sit out? But I don't know if he's willing to take more of those fines. And again, I'm not one to count another man's pockets. That's not my style, or that's not how I get down. But I think it's important to recognize that he knew how much money he could potentially lose playing around. And I know if it was me, I honestly wouldn't play around with my money. Money is hard to earn these days. So at that point, why just give it away? Now, like I said, Rivers said his condition. He specifically said conditioning wise, Simmons looked in shape, obviously not game shape. So they're bringing him along slowly, however long it may be. Now, when he came in, it begs the question: did Coach Rivers call him out? Did the team, speak ill of him, or did the team speak to him? We really don't know. But ultimately, Coach Rivers basically indicated that, when he came back, we didn't make a big deal of it. His exact words were, we kind of joked about it, kind of how when Tobias Harris came back from vacation. So he treated him like nothing ever happened. But the writing was on the wall. We all know how everything went down. And he chose not to call him out. I respect that. It solves nothing. It does nothing. It doesn't move the needle. It doesn't make him get traded any faster. It doesn't fix the problems that we currently have with the Philadelphia 76ers. That's the biggest thing. We have to understand that doing certain things like calling them out or saying things to the media, it doesn't fix the issue at hand. All it does is create more drama. It creates more clickbait for us to consume. But the rumor is he doesn't intend to play a single minute for the 76ers despite coming back. Now, in my eyes, if you don't intend on playing a single minute, why come back? Oh, because your pocket's getting hit. That's the thing. Your pocket's getting hit. And when your pocket, there's a money talking BS walks. Money talking bullshit walk. So at that point, the moment he saw the direct deposit not hit, oh yeah, my man said, "Hey, listen, I'm on the first private jet to Philly. I need to collect my coin." Much respect to that. Get your money, my man. It's hard to earn. But I've been keeping up with this Ben Simmons stuff, and since he's been back, I don't like how I'm not really fond of how he's been moving. I'm not really too fond of the way he's been looking uh, through the media and how the footage is portraying him. Now he's doing it to himself. My man was practicing with sweatpants with his phone hanging out of his pocket. Clearly not locked in, clearly not engaged, clearly waiting for a phone call or a notification. I know he got the Wolves reports on high alert. I know he got the reminders on. But again, I saw footage of Ben Simmons post practice, and typically the players do a post practice huddle, right? They talk about whatever the practice was about. They give the team a little pep speech or a pep talk, whatever it may be. I'm looking at this footage, and I'm seeing Ben Simmons just dribbling the ball in the background, not really being engaged with his teammates, not being engaged with the post practice huddle. That bothers me. At this point, you're a distraction. And I want to make it very clear when it comes to Ben Simmons. I am a Ben Simmons fan. Let me make that clear. I actually like Ben Simmons. And all this BS surrounding his name is kind of pissing me off because I had high expectations for the young brother. I had high hopes for him. I actually held him to a higher standard. But if you really think about how he's conducted himself throughout his career, if you think about how he's conducted himself just this past offseason, he's always been a nonchalant guy, a guy that always came off as indifferent, a guy that always came off as oblivious. And he never really became the player that we thought he could become. A lot of people say he's a jump shot away from being LeBron James. I always said the same exact thing. You think about his ball handling ability. You think about his court vision. You think about his ability to create space for guys, even though people think he's a log jam. But if you really pay attention to the tape, when he drives to the basket, he creates a lot of space because the defense typically sends two guys on him or sends an extra guy on him. They collapse on him, and he's always able to kick it out. As a matter of fact, I think this past season he accounted for the most 3 points assisted, or the most assisted 3-pointers. But right now, he's not locked in on being the Philadelphia 76er. He doesn't really want to be here. You can look at his face. You can look at his demeanor, his disposition. He doesn't want to be in the city. He doesn't want to be where it's cold. He want to be where it's warm. He want to be chilling in his Calabasas mansion. And that's okay, my brother. You deserve that. You put the work in for that to get to this point. But don't come to the city and be a distraction. Don't come to the city and have your phone in your pocket while you're practicing. Look like you lollygagging on the court. They put you with the second team for a reason. And you got to put the ball in the hoop, bottom line. You can't be not aggressive. It's one thing to not be the best shooter, but you're not shooting it at all, not even making attempts. It's one thing to be a pass first guy, but you're not even being aggressive when you had the lane and when you had opportunities. So, of course, this team is going to be upset. Of course, this city is going to have a problem with you. Because what did you do when it mattered most, Ben Simmons? You folded. What did you do for the better part of your career? You didn't necessarily grow your game. You've really been the same player for the better part of your career. A great passer, an athletic guy, a defensive juggernaut. You know what I'm saying? Being able, can finish at the rim above anybody, really. But you've really been the same player for the better part of your career. Not once can we say in your career if you spiked or even regressed more. You've just been the same player. Now, if you look at the numbers, sure, you can say, yeah, his numbers dipped here and there. He took less shots here, whatever. But for the better part of your career, you've been the same exact player. And you think it's this organization's fault that you haven't improved, or you think it's the organization's fault that the city is coming at your neck. Come on, man. How oblivious, how indifferent can you be? How self-absorbed can you be? And look, this isn't a Ben Simmons bash session. This is not what this is. This is just talking about the facts. The facts are Ben Simmons has not improved as a basketball player. He's always been this good defensively. He's always been this good. Maybe he improved a little, but he's always been this good defensively. He's always been 6'10". He's always been about 240, 250. He's always been athletic, always been a ball handling genius, a virtuoso, he always had amazing court vision. But his passion for the game, his aggression when it comes to taking advantage of what the defense gives you, his willingness to shoot the ball, he has not improved or gotten better at that. And that's a problem. That's a problem for the city. That's a problem for his teammates. That's a problem for the coaching staff because they have to coach around your deficiencies. And then when you think about the free throw shooting, that's something that must come. It must be a package deal, Ben Simmons. It's one thing to not be a good three-point shooter or whatever it may be, but you got to at least be 70% from the free throw line. You have to be. I know LeBron James isn't the best free throw shooter, but he at least gave you 70% minimum for the most part of his career. You know what I'm saying? And based off what I've been seeing through the grapevine, the city is about done with Ben Simmons. They're about done with you. Now, me, I'm a little bit more forgiving. If you come in and you grind it out and you're aggressive and you doing right by the team and whatever happens, it happens. But don't come in this city, don't come in this arena, don't come in this practice gym and make it all about you. Don't come in pouting, got your phone in your pocket, bailing on post practice huddles. Yes, we saw you. This brother wasn't engaged in the post practice huddle. As a matter of fact, the moment the post practice huddle was over, he dipped. Now, the word is he's going to be available to the media tomorrow. Now, what this team what the media will ask him, I think we know what's going to happen. They're going to light his ass up. They're going to ask him all the uncomfortable questions. And I'm really curious to see how he conducts himself. I'm really curious to see how he responds to this level of adversity. Because Ben Simmons has avoided adversity his entire career. He's avoided resistance. Am I wrong? Talk to me, you guys. Am I wrong? Has he welcomed resistance, adversity, or has he avoided resistance? Has he welcomed growth, or has he been resistant to growth? I appreciate you guys for being in this live stream. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys also subscribe if you guys are new to the content. And as you guys are probably finding out, the name of the channel has changed to Chalk It Up Sports Philly. I want to give it more of a network, more of a show vibe. I don't want to make it all about me. I want to make it about the brand. I want to make it about, the content I'm giving you guys. I want you guys to fall in love with the show. And, at Chalk It Up Sports Philly, we give you guys honest critique. We give you guys passion. This isn't all about the analytics, and this isn't what the show is about. This show isn't about analytics. This show isn't always about the numbers. This show is about passion. This show is about analysis, the eye test. This show is about opinion, giving my 2 cents on everything. Your boy, Tone DeShields II. But Tobias Harris, he spoke with the media, and they asked Tobias Harris, how was having Simmons back? Tobias, gave a pretty cut and dry answer. It was good having him back, just like old times. You know what I mean? Like this whole thing, you got your teammates speaking for you. That bothers me. You got your teammates having to speak for you, and I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that at all. I'm not a fan of other men speaking for other men. We grown out here. You make your bed, you lie in it. But Tobias spoke to the media. He indicated him and Simmons had a one-on-one conversation. And Howard Eskin, you know Howard Eskin, he's always going to try to get the scoop. Howard Eskin is no holds barred, man. That dude is relentless. But Howard Eskin asked, what was that conversation about? Tobias looked at Howard like, now you know damn well I'm not going to tell you that. Rightfully so. You know, there's honor amongst thieves. There's an honor amongst men. We're not going to reveal what was said privately. We're not going to be pillow talking. That's not how this game works. That's not how we moving out here. But Seth Curry was asked also how he felt about the situation. Seth Curry's exact words were, I know his reasoning and I know what he wants to happen. I'll be able to see from when he steps on the floor where his head's at. I don't think he needs to explain anything to me. He's a grown man and can do whatever he wants. And he's absolutely right. You can do whatever you want, Ben Simmons. You're a grown man. So when you have media availability tomorrow, I'm going to be paying very close attention to your body language, how you answer the questions, your eye contact. I'm going to pay attention to all those things, man. Because look, Ben Simmons is only, what, 24 years old? He's still a young brother, still trying to find himself. But I'm 26 years old, man. And you got to hold yourself more accountable than that, man. You know, when you making that kind of money, and listen, money don't make the man. That's where a lot of people get it messed up at. They think money makes the man. They think money makes the player, or money makes the character. Just because you making millions of dollars, that don't mean you're emotionally exempt from things that the average Joe feels. I bet any amount of money Ben Simmons feels betrayed by his organization. I don't understand why, but I know he does. I know he feels nervousness when the media comes in. I know he feels strange having to answer certain questions, especially when it comes to his trading situation. I know it bothers him. I know it makes him uncomfortable. He can try to play this cool guy, nonchalant, and like everything rolls off, but it doesn't. Clearly, it doesn't. We've seen in the Atlanta Hawks series that nothing just rolls off. Think about when he was asked about what he didn't do right in that series. He was so quick to fall back on, hey, but I do this but I do that. He's a deflector. We don't have time for that. We don't have time for that kind of rhetoric. We don't have time for that level of disingenuity. You make your bed, you lie in it, Ben Simmons. You have to own everything that's come your way thus far. Face it, you've gotten bad advice. You've gotten bad advice from your PR team. You've gotten bad advice from your agent. You've gotten bad advice from your brother, who was your shooting coach at one point. I don't understand why you want to surround yourself with people who's only going to affirm the antics that you've already been doing. There's something to be said about people who surround themselves with people who don't necessarily challenge them. Those type of people, and at this point, I'm besides Ben Simmons. I'm talking about in general. There's something to be said about people who surround themselves with with others who are only going to affirm their current reality. You never want to surround yourself with people who are only going to contribute to your demise, or who are only going to give you more confirmation bias. Why look for people to affirm you? You should always look for people who give you a level of resistance, for people who's always going to challenge your thought, for people who's always going to challenge how you see the world, how you see your game. Me as a man, as an individual, as a human being, I don't want anyone to affirm or just confirm me being right. I don't want to surround myself with people who make me feel good about my decisions all the time. I want people around me who's going to challenge me. I want people around me who's going to hold me accountable for the decisions I make. I don't want people around me who pat me on the back and always give me praise. That's not real life. Real life, people aren't always on your side. People aren't always patting you on the back. People aren't always in your corner. Sometimes you need people that's going to say the uncomfortable thing to you. You want people to tell you you're right when you're wrong. That's not life. That's not reality. And some of these athletes, some people in general, they live in echo chambers. They want to surround themselves with people who are habitually singing their praises, who don't think they can do any wrong. That's not real life, Ben Simmons. That's not real life. Now look, Sixers legend, Hall of Famer, Allen Iverson, one of the GOATs, one of the greatest to ever play this game. He holding Simmons down, rightfully so. That's his youngin. You know what I'm saying? I don't expect fellow athletes. I don't expect, his I don't expect people close to him to speak ill of him. I don't expect that at all. But what I do expect, I expect honesty. I expect realism. You know what I'm saying? I expect a level of accountability behind closed doors. Now, look, people got to save face. People have a reputation to uphold. I understand that certain things can't be said in public. I'm pretty sure AI talking to Ben Simmons in the background, like, yo, my man, like, blase, blase, blase. I'm pretty sure a lot of people, like Tobias Harris, saying in the background, look, my man, this, how are we gonna go forward about this, man? Like, listen, I love you, bro, but something got to change. Allen Iverson said, follow God's plan and execute, little bro. He posted on IG supporting Ben Simmons. I respect that. I'm not going to get mad at AI for that. You know what I'm saying? What does AI gain from speaking ill of Ben Simmons? Not much. He doesn't gain anything. As a matter of fact, AI should have a role in this organization, but that's another conversation. Will Ben Simmons be participating going forward? Who knows? When will he get traded? No one knows. No one knows if and when or for whom. But we know one thing for sure. This man doesn't want to be in this city. You could see it in his face. You could see it in his disposition. He only here because he only here so he don't get fined. Shout out to Marshawn Lynch. He's here so the money keep flowing. And I ain't mad at that. Get your coin, my brother. You signed the contract. They offered you the contract. But you got to live up to that contract as well. They didn't just pay you based off of what you've done. They paid you based off of what they expect. And not only does this organization expect greatness, but this city, this fan base expects greatness. They expect commitment to greatness. They expect your commitment to wanting to be one of the best Sixers of all time. Based off this man's skill set, he has potential to be one of the greatest Sixers of all time. But that's not his MO. That's not what he wants. You can tell by how you could tell a lot by what a man cares about, but how he moves, how he talks. You can tell a lot about a man. You can tell a lot about a person based off of the decision he makes, who he surrounds himself with. You can tell a lot about a man's resolve, a man's character. And I'll be honest with you guys, Ben Simmons' character is not the most sturdy. It's not the most sturdy. Your teammates wanted to fly out to see you. You told them, nah, that's not a good look, man. What did they do to you? If anything, forget Coach Rivers, forget the city. What did your teammates do to you? They just wanted to rant with you and say, listen, man, they just wanted to kick it. You know what I'm saying? They just wanted to kick it in LA with you. They wanted to see what's up. But nah, you denied them that right. But it's all good, Ben Simmons. The season opener is almost here. And we're going to transition away from Ben Simmons because I don't want to beat a dead horse. All we know is he's scheduled to speak with the media most likely tomorrow, sometime tomorrow. We don't really know for sure if he's going to be active for the season opener. Doc said he's not necessarily in game shape, but he's getting there. And again, there's footage out there with this young man not being really active or participatory with his teammates, not really being engaged. It is what it is, man. But I do know this city expects more. This city deserves better. And don't think money makes you above people, man. Don't think money makes you the smartest man in the room. It doesn't. Like I told y'all, money don't make the man. Money don't make the character. Money don't make the woman. All it does is inflate what you already are. It don't change you. It inflates what you already are. And let's keep that in mind, you guys. Let's transition to the next topic of the day. The Philadelphia 76ers season opener. The season opener is almost here. The season opener is Wednesday, October 20th. And we open the season on the road in New Orleans playing against the Pelicans. Now, Zion Williamson will not be active due to a foot injury that required surgery. That's good for us, but there's a potential chance we may be without Ben Simmons. So, again, they're missing one of their best guys. We're missing one of our best guys. It is what it is. But what does the starting lineup look like without Ben Simmons? What does it look like? I'm curious. Now, as of right now, I expect the starting lineup to look like Tyrese Maxey, Seth Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid. That's what I expect. But we're also without Shake Milton as well. I think Shake Milton is dealing with an injury or he got surgery or something like that. I got to do more research on that. I didn't do my due diligence on that. I apologize, you guys. But if Tyrese Maxey starts, who leads the second team? That's a very, very important question. So there's a chance the starting lineup may look like Seth Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, and Niang, who is like a stretch four. He's a shooter. So it's a lot going on with these Philadelphia 76ers, man. It's a lot. And, there's a chance that the starting lineup could be Seth Curry, Danny Green, Korkmaz, Tobias, Joel Embiid. Or it can be Seth Curry, Danny Green, Matisse Thybulle, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid. There's a few combinations that we can expect for the starting lineup. But I expect this Sixers team to come out swinging. I expect this Sixers team to actually want to prove a point this season. Prove a point that we actually are all right without Ben Simmons. Now, look, you can't replace his defense. You can't replace a 6'10", 240-pound man. You can't. You can't replace his court vision. You can't. You can't replace what he brings to the table. I want to make that very clear. Ben Simmons brings a lot to the table. He brings a lot. You can't replace it. But I can't wait to see what Tyrese Maxey is added to the toolbox. I just can't. Because I think at this point he's positioned to be the starting point guard on this team. I think Shake Milton is better coming off the bench. He's a better sixth man. But I think Tyrese Maxey is fighting to be that starting point guard. I think he deserves a shot. If it's up to me, I think the starting lineup should be Tyrese Maxey, Seth Curry, Korkmaz, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid. I would actually prefer if Danny Green came off the bench. But another thing you can't replace is that level of defense. Danny Green plays pretty good defense on certain people. He was getting cooked last playoffs, I believe, by Horter. But he didn't even play that much in that series. But there's moments when Danny Green looks like a great defender, and there's moments where he just looks like he's lagging. But I think that's the age. So I don't think you can expect the most out of Danny Green from a defensive perspective this season. You just can't. You can't put him on these young point guards to guard. It's not going to work that way. It's not going to work in his favor. You just can't expect it. So for me, my starting lineup is Tyrese Maxey, Seth Curry, Matisse Thybulle, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid. That's my starting lineup, and I would commit to that. I would commit to that starting lineup. Tyrese Maxey, Seth Curry, Matisse Thybulle, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid. Tyrese Maxey, you get the point guard, you get the prototypical point guard. He's aggressive. He can get to the lane, finish with any hand. Has a beautiful floater. He's becoming a better shooter. What else? Then you got Steph Curry, the shooter. He's a liability on defense. That's when Matisse Thybulle comes in. Then you got Tobias Harris, and you have Joel Embiid. So that's my starting lineup. That's my prediction for the starting lineup for opening night against the New Orleans Pelicans. And also, we have to talk about Joel Embiid for the season opener. Now, he's healthy. I'm not saying that. But how healthy is Joel Embiid? He opted to not get surgery on a slightly torn meniscus in his right knee. That was what he decided to do or not to do. But how healthy is he? How healthy is Joel Embiid for the long haul? Can he be here for the entire 82 game season? Joel Embiid has an injury history. Joel Embiid has never played more than 64 games in a season, I believe. But Joel Embiid, he just signed a $196 million Supermax. So that comes with new responsibilities. That comes with new expectations. But Joel Embiid has never shied away from the expectations. He's never shied away from the responsibility. He's always welcomed the smoke. And that's what I like about Joel Embiid. He doesn't shy away from resistance. He welcomes it. And whenever he's met with turmoil, or whenever he's met with controversy or anything that can be a distraction, he responds on the court and plays very well. So I'm grateful for a guy like Joel Embiid. I'm grateful that we have a guy like Joel Embiid who's willing to be a stand-up guy, willing to, engage with the fan base and also just be a leader. He talked about, his newfound leadership and being more welcoming to the role of being a leader, and how he's grown as a leader. Leading not just on the court, but leading off the court as well. Being a pro. Understanding that his team will go as far as he can take them. You see, last season, Joel Embiid showed that he was taking everything serious with the new coaching staff. He got healthy. You know what I'm saying? His nutrition was on point. And he actually looked better on the low block. He was more aggressive being in the paint. Took so many free throws. Was an MVP candidate. Don't think he not poised to be an MVP runner this season. I got a feeling he can surpass this previous season. He had a career year last year, in my opinion. Came back in the playoffs off a torn meniscus and did his thing still. Came back and dropped over 30 points. That's what I'm saying, man. That's how I like my athletes. That's how I like my pros. Hey, listen, don't count me out just yet. If I got two legs, I'm still going forward. And that's how I love it. That's how I like it. But how many games can this team win? How many games can this very, very, very turbulent Sixers team win? We open the season in New Orleans, and then we go home to play Brooklyn. That's going to be a tough game. Then we got Oklahoma City on the road. Then we got New York on the road. Then we got Detroit, then Atlanta, then Portland. The schedule is out. And I think this Sixers team can win 45 to 50 plus games this year. Now, it all remains to be seen, because at the end of the day, there's a chance we can be without Ben Simmons going forward. And we need to find out just how good this team can be without him. And I know this team is going to want to prove a point. I think this team is going to want to show that, listen, especially Joel Embiid. And we're going to definitely see this team play a different way if Ben Simmons is not here. We're going to see more space on the floor. That's a definite. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see Joel Embiid getting more touches, getting more looks. You're going to see Tyrese Maxey getting more minutes. You're going to see guys like Isaiah Joe, Paul Reed probably getting more minutes. Isaiah Joe and Paul Reed are coming along great. I'm really excited to see what Paul Reed turns into. I love his measurables. I love his athleticism. I love his aggressiveness. I love his fearlessness. Paul Reed out of DePaul University. Isaiah Joe, I think he's out of Indiana. I like Isaiah Joe. He's been looking like a marksman this preseason. He's been looking crisp from the three-point line. So I'm excited to see if he gets minutes. I'm excited to see how Matisse Thybulle has developed since playing for Team Australia. Getting that international play. I'm excited to see how Korkmaz is doing. Korkmaz dropped, I think, Korkmaz had a good game a couple games ago. I think he dropped like 27 points, something like that, 25 points. Korkmaz is looking good, looking aggressive, putting the ball on the floor, getting to the rim. I want to see how this team elevates. Now, Tobias Harris, he is dealing with a little bit of knee soreness, but he says he feels good. Said he feels good. But overall, I think this Philadelphia 76ers team, as it's presently constructed, without Ben Simmons, can win 45 to 50 games. Now, the East has gotten better. The Atlanta Hawks has gotten better. The Knicks have gotten better. I expect the Hornets to be better. I expect the Pacers to be better. The Chicago Bulls got better. The Milwaukee Bucks are what they are. The Brooklyn Nets are what they are. You know what I mean? The Miami Heat got better. It's not going to be a cakewalk in the East. It's not. But I expect this team to win 45 to 50 games plus. That's my expectation. I expect this team to be no lower than the 5th seed. No lower than a 5th seed. That's my expectation. And I'm trying to be realistic. I'm trying to be modest because we are most likely going to be without Ben Simmons by the time playoff time comes. I expect him to be gone before the trade deadline. That's my expectation. Because as the season progresses, teams are going to start to be desperate. Teams are going to start to realize what their needs are. Teams are going to want to pull the trigger on more things. So I expect Ben Simmons to be gone before the trade deadline. It's just a matter of when and who and how and what we receive. But like I said, this Philadelphia 76ers team, at minimum, 45 wins. At minimum. I expect at minimum 45 wins. At the most, I expect 55. So they're going to teeter between that 45 to 55 win range. That's my expectation. But let's transition into football. Let's transition into the Philadelphia Eagles. Lane Johnson has returned to the team following a leave of absence for mental health reasons. Now, first and foremost, I'm glad that Lane Johnson is back playing football again. I'm glad he's back with the organization because we need him. We need him. This offensive line hasn't looked the same without him. This offensive line hasn't looked the same without Brandon Brooks or Isaac Samalu. That's just facts. But I'm glad he's back. I'm glad his mind is clear as it presently seems. And I don't want to ever make football more important than someone's well-being, than someone's mental health or their physical health. But why don't we as a society take mental health more seriously? Mental health should be taken just as serious as a physical injury. A mental breakdown should be taken just as serious as a heart attack. Why do we as a society only acknowledge or only want to give credence to injuries that we can see, injuries that we can measure? But when it comes to mental health, we lack a certain level of empathy. We hold these athletes to such a high standard. Yet we forget they're human first. They bleed. They eat, breathe, and shit like us. We can't forget that one caveat. They're human just like us. And they go through things. They have families. They have relationships outside of the game. So it's important to understand that they got to take care of home first. If they're not right up here, how can they be right? But how can they be right out there on the grass, on the turf, in between the lines? So I'm glad Lane Johnson is back. This team needed him. I didn't like Jordan Mailata at right tackle. I prefer him at left tackle. I didn't like Andre Dillard out there causing penalties, looking shaky. Didn't like it. I like the offensive line when we got the Twin Towers out there and Mailata and Lane Johnson holding it down on the edges. Because Andre Dillard, he does okay with speed guys, but he doesn't do well with power guys. He doesn't have that power, that raw force to deal with guys that are stronger than him. He just doesn't have that. But Lane Johnson is back, like I said. And he said, mental health is a real thing, and he's been dealing with depression and anxiety. Me, speaking for myself, I deal with my own level, my own version of anxiety as well. Sometimes I'm super subconscious. Sometimes I'm overcritical. I overanalyze myself. I overanalyze my content, my life, the things I say. Sometimes I hold myself to these unfair standards. Sometimes I hold other people to unfair standards. Sometimes my mental health isn't always balanced, but we're human. We all go through things. And because you're an athlete, because you make millions of dollars, that don't make or break you. That don't change you. It inflates what you already are. And money don't get rid of mental health issues. It doesn't. Brandon Brooks dealt with it, still does deal with it. And Lane Johnson is currently dealing with it. Now, we don't know what's going on personally. The rumor is he was dealing with things in his love life. I don't want to make that assumption. We ultimately don't know. But we all deal with mental health in our own capacity. Some of us deal with anxiety. Some of us deal with depression. Some of us love ourselves at times. Some of us hate ourselves at times. But do not think you're alone. Do not think you're the only one going through it. There's such a large community of people who deal with mental health issues on such a broad spectrum. Some people deal with bipolar disorder. Some people deal with schizophrenia, dual personalities. There's such a full range, a full spectrum of mental health issues that people deal with. Some people lash out on their loved ones. It happens. I've seen it. It's real. And we have to start treating the brain like the organ that it is. If something can be wrong with your kidneys, if something can be wrong with your heart, if something can be wrong with your appendix, if something can be wrong with your lungs, why can't something be wrong with your brain? The brain is responsible for everything we do. Without the brain, we are nothing. We are vegetables. We know nothing. We feel nothing. We see nothing. We are nothing without our brains. So we have to cherish it and value it. That's a fact. We're all going through something. Young kids in high school dealing with their own level of adversity, dealing with FOMO, fear of missing out, feeling like they got to be something they not. Mental illness does that to you. Sometimes it makes you make rash decisions just to fit in. It's never worth it. Love yourself more than anything you do. Love yourself more than any amount of money you make. And I'm not mad at Lane Johnson for taking 2 weeks off. I'm not. We went 1-1 in those 2 weeks. I'll take it. The team got a lot more problems than just him. And he's not even a problem. I'm just saying that the team got bigger fish to fry. Let that man get himself right. I'm glad he's back to playing football. I'm glad that he's back to doing what he loves. The city is not the same without him. The team is not the same without him. And I hope that whatever's going on in his personal life, I pray that he finds solace. I pray that he finds peace. I pray that anybody involved in his personal situation, I hope they find peace. I hope they find solace. And I hope they find tranquility as well. I hope they find serenity. You know what I mean? It's not easy being a person. You know what I mean? It's not easy being a person. It's not easy. It's not easy living this life. It's not easy being under scrutiny of millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people. It's not easy. Some of our jobs That's funny, Trush. But some of our jobs demand the most from us. Some of our jobs demand that we be in tip-top shape, maybe mentally, maybe emotionally, maybe physically. But we're all entitled to our bad days. We're human. Just as much as we're entitled to our bad days, we're entitled to our good days. Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down, sometimes we're high, sometimes we're low. Sometimes we love, sometimes we hate. But it's important to understand that those feelings come and go, and never hold yourself to those feelings. Understand that you can grow from them. You can grow from your past mistakes. You can grow from your mental health. You can grow with it. It's all about self-awareness. It's all about knowing and loving yourself. The more you love yourself, the more you know yourself, the better you are for it. So again, I respect Lane Johnson, and I'm just so glad that he's back. I'm so glad, man. But let's transition to another topic. Let's talk about the NFC East picture for the Philadelphia Eagles. Because the Philadelphia Eagles right now are 2-4, and things are not looking too bright. Things are not looking too bright for the Philadelphia Eagles as it presently stands. But we're only 6 weeks deep into the season. I think I read somewhere that the Eagles have the easiest remaining schedule out of all the teams in the NFL. The Eagles have the easiest remaining schedule. But the NFC East picture is as this. The Cowboys are 5-1. They've been on a tear. Got to give them respect where respect is due. They beat quality opponents. They beat weak opponents, but they've not played with their food. And I got to respect the game. I got to respect it. The Cowboys ain't been playing with their food. So they're 5-1, number one in the NFC East. The Washington football team are 2-4, number two in the NFC East. The Philadelphia Eagles are number 3, and they're 2-4 as well. And the Giants are 1-5. The lowly Giants. Oh my God, pray for them. But like Trush just said, the Cowboys' schedule does get harder. Let's acknowledge it. Let's acknowledge it so far. The Cowboys lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They beat the Chargers. They beat us. They beat the Panthers. They beat the New York Giants, and they beat the New England Patriots. Now, the Chargers, they are a fairly young team. They got a young stud in Justin Herbert, but he's still growing as well. So they beat a quality team in the Chargers. They beat us. They lost to the Super Bowl champions in Tampa Bay. They beat Carolina. I don't think Carolina's for real. I think Carolina's fool's gold. So I'm not sure how quality of a win that is. They beat the New York Giants. Who hasn't? They beat the New England Patriots, which was a nail-biter, went in overtime. The Patriots pushed them to the brink. The Patriots actually made a few mistakes in that game. Shout out to Mac Jones for playing a good game, but Dak Prescott showed out. He showed out. But their schedule does get harder. They have to go on the road to Minnesota. They have to play the Denver Broncos at home. They have to play the Falcons, which is going to be a win for them. The Kansas City Chiefs, that's a tough matchup on the road. The Las Vegas Raiders, that's a tough matchup, even though they're going to be home. The New Orleans Saints, that's not an easy matchup either. They got to play Washington again, New York again, Washington again, and then Arizona. And then they finish the season with us. I think right now, the Arizona Cardinals and the Dallas Cowboys have the two best records in the NFC. That's what I think. But I'm curious to see. Just how good this Dallas Cowboys team is. They're 5-1, and you are what your record says you are. You are what your record says you are. They are a 5-1 team right now. They're playing lights out. They're not playing with their food. Their defense is getting a large amount of takeaways. They're forcing turnovers. Got to give credit where credit is due. We have to. But the Philadelphia Eagles, they have not taken advantage of opportunity. They could have beat the San Francisco 49ers. They could have beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They could have beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but they played with their food and they underperformed. Nick Sirianni did not do his due diligence as the head coach. Justin Hurts is not exempted either. He had bad games against San Francisco. He had his worst game against Tampa Bay. He actually had his best statistical game against the Kansas City Chiefs, I believe. Week 1 excluded, and that was a loss. Had almost 400 yards passing. But just Jalen Hurts' game has kind of been up and down, very erratic. Nick Sirianni's coaching has been very erratic up and down. Jonathan Gannon's coaching has been very erratic up and down. This entire team has been erratic up and down. And Trush, you bring up a good point, my man. If Nick Sirianni doesn't have a good balance between run and pass, we're going to keep losing. It's very simple. He says we need to run the ball, especially after how our offense looked when we got Sanders involved in the fourth against the Bucs. You're absolutely right, Trush. Absolutely. We have to acknowledge that Miles Sanders is one of our more talented guys on offense outside of Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. We need to get Miles Sanders involved. If he doesn't run the ball, we're going to continue to drop in the standings in his division. Let's not act like we're that much better than the Giants right now. We're 2-4, they're 1-5. We're not too far off from them. And the Washington football team. We're not too far off from those guys either. We're all in the same boat damn near. The Eagles need to find their identity. They need to establish it now. Now's the time. You have a 10-day break. You have a mini bye before you play the Las Vegas Raiders, on the road. We have 2 games back-to-back on the road. We have to go to Las Vegas, then we got to go to Detroit. Not going to be easy doing all that traveling. And I'll be damned if we give the Detroit Lions their first win. I'll be damned. If we give the Detroit Lions their first win, I'm going to lose my mind. We can beat the Las Vegas Raiders. They're not as concrete as well. They're dealing with a lot of turbulence. The whole John Gruden scandal. Even though, he's kind of taking the fall for a lot of other things as well. Not saying that he rightfully deserves all the scrutiny, but out of all those emails that were revealed, do you think John Gruden is the only one who says some malicious things in those emails? Trust and believe, he's falling on the sword while everything else is going to get swept under the rug. It's too many emails for him just to be the only one. John Gruden deserves everything that's coming his way. But I also believe there's more to that story. There's more to this whole John Gruden scandal. There's more. There's more in the emails. There's more people involved. He was emailing somebody, and my whole thing is, when you speak a certain way to a certain person, that means you're comfortable. When you're comfortable saying certain things to certain people, what does that say about the person they're speaking to? It says a lot. What's going on, Slasher? How you feeling, man? It says a lot. If I'm comfortable talking shit to him about them, what does that say about him? If somebody comfortable talking trash about me to my homie or my brother, what does that say about my brother? I expect that out of them, but I don't expect my brother to be the listener. I don't expect you to be the soundboard. Why are they so comfortable telling you this? It begs the question, who else was on the other side of those emails? Who else was involved with this John Gruden scandal? It all remains to be seen. But Washington lost to a shaky Kansas City Chiefs team. The Chiefs looking weird to me. They're looking very weird. But the Washington football team lost to them recently. Giants lost to the hot LA Rams. We lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Cowboys beat the New England Patriots in overtime. The Eagles are not carrying their weight. We're underperforming. That's a fact. Coaching is underperforming. That's a fact. Jalen Hurts is being unfairly critiqued. Now, I'm not saying he's exempt from being, critiqued, but I'm saying he's being unfairly critiqued. The way this offense is being called, how can you grade him properly? He has missed throws, yes. But is he being properly groomed for the position? Is he being properly coached? Is he the quarterback for Nick Sirianni? It all remains to be seen. And this brings me right into my next topic, the Philadelphia Eagles draft position as of now. And this is going to be the final topic of the day, you guys. The Philadelphia Eagles draft position as of right now, as it stands, we are in position to get the second overall pick from Miami, because Miami is not looking good at all. And this is going to look like the heist of the century if Miami doesn't turn it around. We got the second overall pick so far from Miami, then our own pick, the 8th overall, and then we got the 9th overall pick so far from Indy if they continue to, be piss poor. So right now, it looks like we have 3 top 10 picks in this coming draft. And it kills me. It kills me to be talking about the draft at this point in the season. It's disgusting as an Eagles fan to be talking about the draft. It's not even 2022 yet. And I'm already thinking about the draft. That grinds my gears, man. It grinds my gears. Grinds my damn gears. But 3 top 10 picks don't look that bad when you're trying to rebuild your roster. Now, look, let's be real. We knew our team wasn't Super Bowl contenders. We knew that. We knew this team had a lot of growing to do. We knew that. We knew with a first-year head coach and a first-year starter and Jalen Hurts, there's going to be some growing pains. We know that. But we didn't expect it to be this lopsided in terms of play calling. We didn't expect us to look good at certain moments and then to sweat the bed in other moments as well. We didn't expect this team to lack this much discipline. But I'll say this. This team should not be in a rush to find their quarterback. And I'm going to explain to you why. They should be focusing on fortifying the roster for when the time comes to draft that quarterback or trade for that quarterback or sign that quarterback, whatever, however it happens. This team should not be in a rush to fill that quarterback position of the future because you have a young quarterback right now in Jalen Hurts who was on his rookie deal. And even if he's not the quarterback of the future, he can be the perfect bridge quarterback until that perfect quarterback comes along. You can plug and play the quarterback once the roster is fortified. We have to fortify this linebacker core. We have to refortify this offensive line. We have to refortify the DBs. We have to find out if Miles Sanders is our running back of the future as well, even though we don't give him the touches to really determine that. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets traded or however may have you. But this Philadelphia Eagles team, as it's presently constructed, is not built for a Deshaun Watson, not built for Aaron Rodgers, not built for a Russell Wilson. Those are just the key names right now that are always buzzing in trade rumors or free agent rumors, or guys who are potentially going to be on different teams going forward. Those are the rumors, right? But this team is not presently constructed for quarterbacks at that elite level. We need to retool, reload this roster with talent and not leverage our assets, our capital to bring in a quarterback when this team is not ready to win now. Why leverage everything to bring in a quarterback when this team is not built to win? The defense is still giving up too many points, too many yards. The rushing defense needs to find their identity. We need to find more guys who are impact players on defense. We need to allow Jalen Hurts to play out the remainder of his contract regardless of how it goes down. Regardless of how it goes down. I believe, I'm of the mindset that we need to let Jalen Hurts play out the rest of his contract, find out what we have in him, find out how good he can actually be, find out if he can be the future. If he is the future, beautiful, perfect. That speaks more to my point. But if he's not the future, if Jalen Hurts ends up not being the guy, if he can't develop, if he can't learn to make the throws we need him to make from the pocket, then you let him play out the contract, you keep the quarterback on the rookie deal, you don't re-sign him, and then at that point, you keep every year you just keep reloading the roster. You get more talent, you draft better talent. You know what I'm saying? Or You can trade him in his third year. You can trade him before the contract is up to try to get something for him. Whatever it may be, the bottom line is we don't need, this team does not need to rush to find a quarterback when this roster is not ready to win now. That's my mindset, and I'm sticking to that. We're not ready to have a guy like Deshaun Watson, especially with all his baggage. He need to get that cleared up first. We're not ready for a guy like Aaron Rodgers, a guy that's actually on the tail end of his career, and who knows if he still wants to play football going forward. The way I see it, that man is going to be a game show host when he retires. Y'all ain't been saying the commercials. This man is priming himself to be in the limelight. He's priming himself for Hollywood after he retires. Best believe that. He's charming. He has a personality. He's a funny guy. So what do you expect? And then with Russell Wilson, he's still in his prime, but Russell Wilson needs an offensive line. I think our offensive line is much better than the Seattle Seahawks. That's a fact. But Russell Wilson's dealing with an injury right now. And who knows if Russell Wilson is willing to uproot his family and leave Seattle? Who knows? But I know he's been holding his organization accountable. I know he's been making it clear to them, we need to change some things. Otherwise, I'm out of here. So the Philadelphia Eagles don't need to be in a rush to find their quarterback in the future. They should not be in a rush. They should not be in a rush. This team is not ready. We better not draft a quarterback in the first round this coming draft. We need to draft the most talented defensive player. We need to go defense heavy. We need to go defense heavy in this draft. We need to make it a point to draft talented linebackers, draft talented safeties. We need to make it a point to draft some more talent on the D-line. Fletcher Cox is 30 plus, I believe, 30 going on 31. Javon Hargrave is going crazy right now. We need some more talent on the D line. Brandon Graham is dealing with an injury right now. Who knows what's going to happen to him next season? We need to get some more talent on that defensive end. We need to. A lot needs to be done. We need to find out if Nick Sirianni is our coach, really. That's another thing. We don't know if Nick Sirianni is our coach of the future either. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know if Nick Sirianni is the future. He's still got to prove it to me. We don't know if Jonathan Gannon is the future. And right now, we saw Zach Ertz get traded. And that was actually the hardest domino to fall. Now that the Zach Ertz domino fell, everybody's fair game. Anybody can get traded. Everything is food. The Zach Ertz domino was the hardest one to fall. And now that he's gone, anybody is liable to get traded before the trade deadline. Especially if the team is not looking like they're going to the playoffs or look like they're in the running for a wild card spot. Why would we be buyers? We should be sellers. We should be sellers if things aren't looking good. You know, it's really frustrating. And Ivan, you and Slasher bring up great points. They both got to prove something. And on top of that, we were sold fool's gold. We were promised certain things that we were going to use guys to the best of their ability. We were promised that we were going to take advantage of, defensive weaknesses. We were promised that we're going to be a balanced team. We're going to get Miles Sanders going. We were promised those things. We're not getting that. And it's a disappointment. Nick Sirianni has been a disappointment thus far. Jonathan Gannon has been a disappointment thus far. Jalen Hurts, unfortunately, has not really lived up to expectation thus far. But I have to put more credence, more weight on the coach because he is not running the ball enough to create a balanced offensive system. How can Jalen Hurts be productive when the defense knows he's going to throw the ball every single time? How can he be productive when they know it's an RPO? How can he be productive when they know we're always going to be in the shotgun? How can we be productive when Jalen Hurts is not even running traditional play action plays out of I formation? How can we be productive? How? We've been lied to. We've been bamboozled thus far. Now look, once again, We're only 6 weeks. We're only 6 weeks deep, you guys. So I want to try to keep us level-headed. We're only 6 weeks deep. A lot can change 6 weeks from now. But now was the time to get this running game involved. Now was the time to run the table. Because right now, the Las Vegas Raiders are dealing with a turbulent front office and a turbulent coaching staff because of the whole John Gruden situation. The Detroit Lions don't know who they are and can't buy a win. Also, the Denver Broncos look human. The Chargers look human as well, but they're a better team than us. The Chargers couldn't even register 10 points against the Baltimore Ravens. So, what does that say about the Chargers? What does that say? Did they finally run into some real competition and they folded? Now look, they lost to the Cowboys. That was a tough matchup. They beat the Chiefs, but the Chiefs' defense sucks right now. They beat the Raiders. The Raiders are up and down. They beat the Browns. Baker Mayfield can't win them a game, even though that was a shootout. But we have to be mindful of the Chargers. Justin Herbert is a stud. That's a fact. But he's still young. He's still learning. But like I said, Las Vegas Raiders, they're vulnerable. Detroit Lions, they're vulnerable. Detroit Lions, yes, they're vulnerable. Los Angeles Chargers, still a very, very good team. Better than us. I don't see that being a win. But Denver, they're vulnerable. The New Orleans Saints, they're vulnerable. Giants, they're vulnerable. New York Jets, they're vulnerable. Washington football team, they're vulnerable. Out of these final 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out of these final 11 games, I don't see why we can't go 7-4 or 8-3. I don't see why we can't. I don't see why we can't go 8-3 these final games, just based off the schedule. I don't see why not. That's just my humble opinion. But look at this. Like Ivan Mims just said, it don't matter how good your quarterback is. If you don't have a running game, you will not be successful. Look, think about Tom Brady and Leonard Fournette. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers ran the ball 7 to 8 times in that first quarter alone. They run the ball. Think about the New England Patriots. They know they got a young quarterback, and they know they want to protect him. They know they don't want to scar him. They know they don't want to break him. So you know what they do? They run the ball more than anything. They have a balanced offensive attack. You cannot keep leaving Hurts on an island like this. You cannot keep trying to win the game with his arm when he's still learning the game. You cannot keep throwing him to the wolves. You cannot keep doing this. The coaching staff has to be better. Ownership has to be better. The front office has to be better. We have to. Otherwise, this team is going to continue to fail, and we're going to continue to be looking for a head coach that knows what he's doing, and we're going to always be in our own way. And I'll leave it at that, man. I'm about to get out of here. I'm your humble host, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports Philly, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. If you guys are just hopping in on this live stream, it's unfortunate, you guys. We had a real hot topic. Make sure you guys double back and rewatch the live stream. I had a handful of topics lined up for you guys, and I gave you guys a lot of passion, gave you guys a lot of energy, gave you guys my analysis, my view, my breakdown of everything, my point of view. Super grateful for you guys locking in. Super grateful for you guys supporting me and hitting that like button. It means so much to me. Chalk It Up Sports Philly with Tone DeShields II is nothing without you guys. Understand that. This content is nothing without you guys. The more you guys watch, the more you guys like, the more you guys comment, the more you guys subscribe, the better this content will be, the further we will go as a community. And I really appreciate you guys. Like I said, I'm your humble host, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports Philly, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. One love, stay humble, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay hungry. And fly Eagles fly, you guys. And let's go